Got to get it right. You are live.
Just panicking now.
Why? Yeah, because it wasn't working.
Yeah, you're on there. All right.
Right. Let's just let people come in. Right, there's a few people coming in now. Right, everyone. Lee Ashby here, Motocross and Speedway Memories. I'll just do my thank yous quickly. Big thanks for the support to Simon Pardo of White Eagle Finance. They give quality financial advice for pensions, investments, mortgages and protection. Check his website at www.whiteeaglefinance.co.uk. Also, thanks to Luke Gorse, who does motocross as well. He is from X44 App Solutions using Easy Apps. He created my new website that's now out. You can check it at www.mxspeedwaymemories.co.uk. And also thanks to Stefan Everts with his S72 gin and vodka brand. Check all his amazing products at s72gin.com. Also about, what do you mean you can't hear? And also I've only got 14 tickets left for my bike competition on my RM250, Travis Pastrana Motocross the Nations replica. So get at me for those last few tickets. Right then, people, let's get the countdown ready. Here we go. I can't give this man a big enough introduction. 3 times 500cc world champion, British MX legend, a god and an idol to most of us, of course, Mr. Dave Thorpe. Let's bring him in.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Dave, can you hear me, Dave?
I can hear you fine.
That's beautiful then. So we're all good. Let me just put that like that, side by side. Brilliant. So all good then, Dave? How are you?
Yeah, all good. All good.
I appreciate you doing this, mate. Everyone's been looking forward to this. Live with the man himself. Right. I'll get on my comments. I can see everyone's already coming in already. What's that? Is there a clicking noise you're in? Can you hear that? Oh. Got a few of the guys coming in. Evening. Don't forget, guys, you've got to clear it off. What's that clicking? There a noise, something's coming through.
Yeah, I can hear that too.
Yeah, where's that coming from? Is it gone now? No idea where that's coming from. I'm not doing it. Right. Let's get into it anyway. Right, Dave. I'll basically ask you a couple. That's actually sounding quite bad there, isn't it? Let me turn it down a little bit. Is that doing it now? No idea what that is. Not sure. Right, anyway, I've got a Darren Weston. He has asked, could you have ever imagined the effect it would have had on people that still feel that now, all these years later, about the effect of yourself? He said he used to have a T-shirt that he wore at the British Championships in later years that said, Kurt maybe have more points, but Dave's still way out in front. Did you feel? Could you have ever expected to still have such a legendary status like these many years on? It's almost like the guys were obviously massively famous then, but I don't know if it's social media or it seems to be even bigger than ever.
Yeah, I never really think of it like that. I mean, I just happened to be somebody that could ride a motocross bike quite well, and I was involved in it at a time when, you know, the fans were very much part of the event. You know, like today, we watch it on Eurosport, we see it on our phones. But in normal years, the volume of people, especially the British fans that used to go to France, Namur, and travel the GP circus was immense. So I think a lot of the time you had that cult following. It's slightly different than it is now.
Yeah. So I've got some of the guys are coming in the group now. Lots of legend comments, Dave, as you can imagine. Graham Noyce tells a great story of how he reeled in Carl Quist. He mentions the risks he took during the race. Did similar moments the day you become Superman at Farley, down on the first corner to superhero in 40 minutes. With hindsight, was there anything you did that was reckless that day? You feel that you won the race? That was Mike Hewlett who said that.
I got lucky that day, really, because apart from the crash, which was obviously problematic for me, but obviously I had an amazing crowd there, which would spur anyone on. But what you don't often see on the video is it was drizzly rain in the beginning of that race. And being a Brit, brought up in schoolboy motocross, grassy surfaces, adverse cambers, it kind of really fell into me, everything that I excelled on. So there was a little bit of red mist in the early laps of that race, but it also fell into me in as much as it was drizzly. The other riders were just being a little bit cautious because of the rain. I had everything to lose, but it was one of those moments. It's a do or die.
I think we've all had that situation as well, where you sort of come off at the start and you just do get that extra bit of adrenaline rush, don't you, when you get back on the bike and it just seems to come to you.
Sorry,
dog's in on the action.
Yeah.
Right, we had something from Gareth Edwards. He put, did you happen to race an AMCA at Shobden track where you were younger? Because he was an old program online, and I'm sure it was you. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that particular venue, but I did race the AMCA. The name does ring a bell. If my dad was sat next to me, he tends to have a bit better memory than me on that period of my life.
Yeah.
Of course, that's when I started on my journey with Honda on the Red Rocket. It was AMCA always holds a special place for me.
Got a Sean Brinkley. He put asked Dave why he used open face helmet at times and a full face other times. I remember that, like 89 into 90 on the Kawasaki. I remember you using an open face and then sometimes full face. Was there a reason for that, Dave? Or?
Yeah, most of the time. I run quite hot when I ride. I know it's a physical sport for us all, but my body temperature is quite hot. And during that, most of the time I was using Carrera goggles.
That's it. That's what I was trying to explain.
And if it was a hot day or a mud race where I was going to get hot, then you'd probably see me come out with an open face helmet, sometimes with a face guard, and sometimes just goggles only. If you look back to, I think some of the mud races, I would be tendency to use just the goggles. My dad used to go mad at me because I was the world's worst for just, if I've got a big peripheral vision, and if I get a dot somewhere on the outside of my goggles, and I start flapping around with the tear offs, they would be off. They'd throw them off, and my dad would say, "There's still 3 or 4 left, Dave." But I used to rather try and ride with none than have a little bit of dot or flap around with the tear offs. And of course, in those days, with the tear offs, if what did we have? I think if you had 7 or 8 on, you would just about see the first corner. If you put 9 on, it was a little bit blurry because we didn't have the laminates that they have now. They were quite a thick tear off. So goggles were always a little bit of a problem for me in my racing days, and hence the helmet situation would be whatever was going on the day, whether I was going to run hot or not.
Okay, I hope that answers that for everyone. Quite a few people asked me that one, so we have to get that one there. I've just put this up on the screen. Look, Scott Bowman said, "Do you regret moving from Honda to Kawasaki?"
At the time, I did it for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
Hindsight in life is always a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I genuinely think if I'd have had my time again, I'd have stayed where I was, swallowed my pride, and possibly had another world title.
Yeah. Next one I've got, quite a few people sort of put up some memory sort of stuff. Someone, Darren Weston, put, also, can you thank him for the few laps he did with me at Doncaster Motor Park in 1996 after one of his training camps? It was a money can't buy experience. Even Jimmy Savile back in the day couldn't have fixed that for me. A cherished memory. That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah.
Right, he's got another one come up here. Ian Price. I'll put that up on the screen. Who was your most difficult opponent and why?
It'd be one of several, really. Obviously, in the UK, when I first sort of started to make my mark, I had Graham and Neil, both Grand Prix riders, and I was the youngster, so that was always problematic for me in the early days.
Yeah.
The rest of the time in England, Kurt was always a problem, for different reasons. I don't know why, but he always rode a little bit better in the UK than he did abroad.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when I travelled, I was in a time where, you've got George, Harkin, Eric, Malherbe, Romans, Gookins. You've got Jackie Martins. There was always those guys were always difficult. There's no such thing in those days as an easy opponent.
Yeah.
I think fighting for the championship in '85 was a tough one with Andre. Andre's, in my eyes, probably one of the best motocrossers ever.
Yeah.
He had everything. He could ride hard. He could ride sand. He could do it all. And then in '86, it was between Andre, Eric, and George and myself, which went to the wire. So again, those three guys were really tough.
Yeah.
And then the one that most people remember is '89 with Eric and myself. That was a lot about mind games, not so much on the track. There was a lot going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Eric, he was a difficult opponent. He was fast, physically strong and aggressive, but always fair, I might add. During the course of those 10 years, there's a whole bunch of guys that I wouldn't say any of them were easy at all. It was always difficult at times.
Yeah.
And then I think probably the one person, we talk about opponents, but the one person that was always problematic for me was Mervyn Anstey. The worst scenario for me was to come up behind Mervyn because, as experienced and as fast as he was, he could be as wide as he wanted to be. And he was a wily old fox. If he didn't want you to pass, you would not get by him. It was always difficult. So my heart always sunk when I come up behind him because I knew it was going to be a challenge. But all the other guys, in different times of our career, they've always been a difficult one.
Is that where the nickname Merv the Swerve come from, was it?
It didn't come from me, but I would say it fitted in well at the time, bless him.
I love that. I've actually just seen a question from Rob Andrews just come up. Just thought I'd let you know, Rob, that I have got your book, actually, that for Father's Day, but I've got to read it yet. But yeah. Ask Dave what he's like in Dodgem cars. I'll bring it up on the screen, look, so that you can see that it was him.
Dodgem cars.
What's he referring to there, Dave?
I think he's referring to possibly a reunion that Heinz Kindergartner organised.
Okay.
I reckon that's it. I think. Yeah. It would have involved a fair bit of alcohol. And possibly his wife as well. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Okay, next one I got is from, let's put that up on the screen, Gary David. What happened to the Kawasaki tank with a bit welded on to make it bigger? I remember that.
Yeah, funny that, isn't it? And it was on April 1st, wasn't it?
Yeah, April Fool's and all that.
It's a simple story, really. We tested a lot in Japan when I went to Kawasaki. I voiced an opinion that possibly when we went to the sand tracks in Holland, we wouldn't have a big enough fuel tank.
Mhm.
And that was one of the early season races in the sand. And testing 10 days before in the sand, they realised that we were vulnerable.
Mm.
So Alec and got one of his guys, and to be honest, that's what they come back with, lastminute.com. But yeah, it wasn't the prettiest thing, was it?
What was your first initial thought then when they rolled the bike out to you to that and seeing that for the first time then?
Well, I think my words were, "You're joking." But yeah, I
Maybe
mean,
a bit more than that.
yeah, it was one race to get through. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did look very odd, and it looked like it could be a bit dodgy for the old jewels and stuff.
It was, to be fair. It split my jewels in half. I had to have stitches after that race.
No way.
Yeah,
Actually, didn't know that. That's not the sort of thing you report, though, I suppose.
No.
All right, I got another one. Someone's put 1985 MX and Nations in Geldof, a great race. Think back to how you beat those Americans. You remember that? Wow.
Yeah, great day, great venue, nice guys. Obviously, through my Honda stuff, I did a lot of stuff with David Bailey and Johnny O'Mara, Ron Lachine. Saw them a lot in Japan. We did a lot of stuff together. So having always got spanked really by them most of the time, it was nice to be on a level playing field on a track that I loved, and had a great race with David. But people often forget that I'm pretty sure in the last race, Trampus Parker beat me, and that was really the surgence of Trampus coming through the ranks. But great venue, wonderful occasion, so many people there. I remember popping over to the beer tent on the Saturday night. It's the biggest beer tent I've ever seen. It was amazing. Yeah.
But there's some times going on in there.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say hello to Sophie. My daughter's just come online and said, "Hey, Dad." Hey, Sophie. Maybe the youngest Pop is watching as well. They like seeing their dad on the screens and all that. Right. Peter Killen. He's put, did Honda treat you any different than the two Belgians, Andre Malherbe and sadly the kid?
No, they Honda were amazing. To be fair, we had a team manager called Steve Whitelock, an American.
Yep.
And possibly Steve was the best team manager I ever rode for.
Yep.
They were very fair. Pre-season testing, everybody got the same opportunity to test everything.
Yep.
And we were allowed to go down whatever road we wanted to go down with the material that was available. So no, Honda, they treated us how I tried to treat the riders that I've got now. Yep. There's no number one. Everybody's on a even keel.
Fair enough. That's good. Right, that was from Peter Killen. Nath Monday's put, did you have a favourite track to race in England and why?
I love Farley. Always loved the occasion. I'm not sure if it was the track or the people, but I won a Grand Prix there on a Kawasaki when I was young. Grand Prix race, I should say. So it always held a special memory. And then the other races that I've had there have been brilliant. Great weather, great crowd, and yeah, it goes back to that dirt and grass scenario for me. Lots of canvas and everything that I love about motocross.
Yeah, beautiful, isn't it? Martin Webb's put, what did he think of 227?
227. 227, I would say, an amazing talent. When he was riding for Roy Emberson on the Yamaha, I thought he was pretty much unbeatable then. That year he was really good. When he rode for us, again, great rider, amazing talent, just like his dad. But I think I'm not quite sure what happened with Roy and Roy's team, but they definitely got the best out of him. They got more out of him than we did. So but a great lad to work for, and in terms of bike skills, there's not many people that can match Christian.
Yep. I agree. Lee Parker's put, what does he think of the modern GP tracks and racing now?
I enjoy to watch it.
Mhm.
I think, like most people, I'd probably like to see a mix. I'd love to see the modern day guys at Payerne or, Wolan or one of the traditional Grand Prix tracks. It's Spain, I thought, was a bit disappointing.
Mhm.
It's good to watch the guys today in Lommel.
Yeah.
Tough track. And while we're talking about Lommel, congratulations to Ben Watson. What an amazing result.
Amazing, yeah, very good.
I know Max has won at Lommel before, but that's no mean feat for a British guy to win a Grand Prix at Lommel. Trust me, it's a great achievement.
Yeah, superb in the sand. Yeah. I've got no one's name on this one. I've seen DT win the title in Luxembourg. He got lifted off the bike after he won the last race, and he threw his gloves and MDS helmet off. He's put, Steve and Nia had the gloves, and I got the helmet. I tried running off with it. I was only young, about 18, and a big burly German grabbed it off me and ran off with it, and I was gutted, but amazing times watching DT around the world. So close, but so far away.
Oh, bless him. That's
brilliant.
Yeah, Luxembourg's an amazing track. I enjoyed it there.
Yeah,
I did enjoy it.
Yeah. I got another one. Someone's put Namor 89, that epic race with Eric. What are your memories of that race? Did you mean to run Eric that close on the uphill steps?
Oh, not really. I didn't mean to be that close. As anyone will know, Namur is very difficult to pass when you've got two people similar pace. And he made a very, very small mistake at the bottom, which allowed me to get a little bit of a run. And it was, I don't think you could have got a Rizzler between us, but I think always the key is he didn't moan at me after, so it must have been all right.
Yeah, it must have been safe enough, yeah. I've got one come through from YouTube. Nick Colclough. Did you ever have any desire to race and aim for an AMA title?
No, never crossed my mind once, really.
No.
Possibly because whenever I did anything with David and Johnny and Ricky and all those guys, I was very much that America was their patch and Europe was ours. I didn't really see that there was any crossover, and HRC certainly saw it as an American and a European thing. They didn't ever see it as one.
Well, I've got ex-racer Danny Smith. I don't know if you can see his question. This will be interesting. I don't know if Dave will want to answer that, Danny. He's put, what's the highest payday Dave ever got?
Danny.
He's naughty, any old Danny.
Yeah. Money was, as much as people talk about money in those days, certainly nothing compared to the highest paid motocrosser currently.
Yeah.
But what can I say, Danny? We got paid well. I never moaned about how much we got paid. And in fact, a lot of the things I've got in life today are due to the racing. So, I'm not going to tell you what was the highest one, but I never moaned, never.
Very naughty, that, Danny. But well answered, Dave. Scott Bowman's put, are we ever going to see you race the MX Nation Vets again at Farley Castle?
Probably not. Not because I don't really want to. But my dad gets a bit tetchy when I mention the word race. I quite like to ride. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, I got invited to the new test on the new 450 Honda. And it was probably the first time I felt my age. I enjoyed the ride. I ride a lot, but not under pressure to race. And unfortunately, when I enter to race anywhere, I can't just sort of blend in, because unless I sign in with another name, because people forget I'm 58 now, and for some reason they still expect me to be able to twist the throttle like when I was 5, and it doesn't quite happen.
Of course, I suppose everyone wants to do that. Yeah, I was racing with DT and I was trying to pass DT. And
I don't mind that bit. I don't mind.
No, right, you don't mind that bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind the banter on the track and the bit.
Yeah.
I don't mind that, but I just, I just.
Bit
My
full off.
dad always says to me, I can run, cycle, and swim, and he said, "You're not as fast as you used to be. So why do you want to put yourself in a predicament? You know, I've got the boys, I've got my daughter, grandson, granddaughter. I want to enjoy it all." So he has a valid point. It's a difficult one to come up against with Dad.
Yeah, I agree, really. I got Barry Dyson's come up. If Dave could pick his fantasy GB MX Nations team, selecting British riders from the past 50 years, who would he, that he never got the opportunity, who would he pick?
Wow, last 50 years. I don't know. I guess you would pick Jeff Smith.
Yeah.
You would pick Graham Noyce.
Is DT in it?
You'd probably pick Kurt. And on his day, you'd probably pick Dobby too. So yeah, it's whilst we haven't had a world champion for a while, we've still got a lot of talent that's been through.
Since Dobby in it?
Yeah, 2001. Yeah.
Bloody hell.
2000 was it? 2000.
2001. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Richard Myrams has put, "What are your best memories with your dad on the spanners?"
Dad was everything, wasn't he? From the beginning all the way through. Probably a lot of people don't know, in 86, the last race in Luxembourg, on the Saturday he was working on the bike and he almost cut his finger off. He was doing something with a Stanley knife on the front number board. And he got took to hospital, and I think Steve Whitlock mechanic for me that day, and he had microsurgery on the Saturday night, and he was still there with his finger right in a big cast Sunday morning, ready to go.
Oh God, fair play.
Yeah,
committed as ever.
Absolutely.
Love it. Nick Pritchett just put, "Hi Lee and Dave." I've got another one. No name on this one, but who was the most talented rider in Dave's opinion that never won a world title?
In my day, like in my time of riding, I'd say Jeremy Watley. Hugely talented lad, amazing skills on a bike. He read the ground better than anybody. And since I've stopped and gone through the motocross, I don't know, it's difficult. It's the modern day rider, there's so much more to it. It's quite intense now. I don't know what I'd say in the modern stuff, but my time, I'd definitely say Jeremy.
Okay, Jeremy Watley. Ian Price has said, "A lot has been written about your knee in Namor 89. How difficult was it for you?"
It was difficult before. When I hurt the knee at Lagippy, I did an international. That's where I hurt it, and a piece of flint went through into my cartilage. To be fair, George Obey was amazing that day. He was at the international. He took me to the airport hotel. He stayed in the same room with me. Got me up in the morning because there was blood everywhere. It just wouldn't stop bleeding. Made sure I got on the plane and then went back to bed. Bless him. And then Mr. Hadfield, when he operated on it, he said that I should be fine. And the guy who used to train with me then, Richard Dye, he was brilliant. We started off with a push bike with a seat really, really high. So I just had a really little bit of movement on my knee on the Tuesday. And by the Thursday, when we had to go to Namur, I could kind of cycle, but not brilliantly. But we figured we had 3 days to go. But what really fell into my hands, which made it really possible, is that Namur is a right-handed track. There's very few left-handers where you've got to have a big dab. Most of the corners are right,
so that helped,
and that really did help me. the stitches, we taped it and taped it and taped it, but the stitches they broke. So I was back to see Mr. Hadfield on the Monday to get it restitched.
Wow. So that was quite sore in general then, racing, obviously.
Yeah,
Made the result even better then, really, considering the circumstances.
Any win at Namor is a good one.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure. Dangerous old track as well, really.
And it's for the fans and everything, it's a great occasion.
Stefan Honey's put, what's the worst GP track you've rode?
Nothing springs to mind, if I'm honest. Nothing really springs to mind. I
don't know if you can see that on the screen, Dave. He's put, I faced Thors, is it, in France?
Yeah.
And I thought that was horrible. We were in a sidecar, though, so it may have been better on a solo.
Yeah, funnily enough, that was one of my favourites there.
Was it?
Yeah. I know what track he means, but having said that, I wouldn't want to go around there on a sidecar either. The hills were incredibly steep there. But yeah, no, I like that. I wouldn't say there was a track I didn't like. There was a few tracks that went off my favourite list based on how I rode. In Finland, Ruskia Santa, it never seemed to gel with me, so that would probably be one of my least favourites. But nothing wrong with the track; it was just purely based on results.
Yeah. Peter Killens put, did you enjoy the John Donnelly at Calinchi Island?
Always enjoyed Ireland, and that track as well. Again, it goes back. It was in those days. It was quite grassy with a bit of stone. Lots of cambers, up and down hills. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah.
I've got Chris Overd. I rode in the British Schoolboy Championship meeting at Cirencester in 1974. You came past me like I was stood still. Do you ever look back on those years?
Only with good memories. I remember them more those years from pictures I've got. So if I go through my photo album and I look back on years and pictures, then I have little flashbacks and remember those days. But they were real schoolboy scrambling at its best, really. They were great days. When I look back over those, it really was good fun.
I've got Davey Suzuki. Dave, what do you think of all these riders getting injured? What do you think should be done to help stop these regular injuries? Interesting.
It's tough, isn't it? Yeah, it's tough on them at the moment. It doesn't help with the current situation. Riding Sunday, Monday, Wednesday. I think that's quite intense for the guys at the minute, especially this week with Lommel 3 times in 7 days. I think that's it's quite hardcore, really. Yeah. But the tracks are so fast now. That's and they're fast with a jump or with a whoop, and that I guess is one of the reasons why they're getting hurt. But it's never nice to see, it's never nice to see. What happened to Jeffrey was a low speed, relatively low impact crash, and he just got really, really unlucky. But some of the other stuff that we've seen is it's a bit worrying, and you'd like to think that at some point, in modern day racing, people do get hurt, but at some point the FIM and Youthstream will look at it and try and get a handle on how they can just make it a little bit safer for the guys, but not necessarily any less spectacular for us.
Yeah, I've got a question from a lad I know well, ex-BSMA champion himself, Vaughan Williams. He's put, ask Dave how he came to get in Ham Lane and whatever happened to it.
I got lucky there. Ham Lane was opposite the kennel track, owned by the same farmer.
Yep.
And I managed to get a small lease on that. I don't know what's happened to it because I don't live up that way anymore.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, last week I only asked someone else where it was and if it was still there, because I believe Steve Dixon's got a track quite close by. And originally I thought that was the same track, but apparently not. So I don't know. It was a cracking little track for training. It really was. It was very French in a really nice bowl.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Sounds good.
It was pretty cool.
Interesting. I've got one here that's not got a name on it. Lee, can you ask Dave how different is the power delivery between a modern 4-stroke and a 500 2-stroke? And does he feel the direction has made it easier?
I think the delivery is more linear. It's a more of a linear curve.
Yeah.
And of course, with the modern bikes now, certainly on the Honda, you've got a standard setting on the ECU, then you've got a linear one, and then you've got mode 3, which is your aggressive one. So I think it's fair to say that the old 500 2-strokes were probably more hard hitting.
Yeah.
But I think also it's probably safe to say that the modern 450 is still an incredible, powerful tool. And it's not the sort of bike you want to ride and get tired on, because it will run away with you.
I've had a question from Kevin Wheeler. What do you think why do you think we've not had a British world champion for so long? Does British riders lack talent or the right mindset to go all the way?
I don't think you can say they lack talent. Ben Watson has been on quite a journey. If you look at him, he rides for a really good team in Belgium, probably one of the best teams in that class.
Yeah.
And he's up against riders that are just a little bit more complete. For me, back in the old days, I got relatively lucky because as a youngster growing up doing the British Championship, I had Graham and Neil there. And on the basis that they were there was Japanese from Honda and Japanese from Yamaha. And that allowed me to be in the shop window, so to speak. So as long as I performed quite well, I kind of got created in that bubble.
Yeah.
Modern day British riders seem to think that you've got to live abroad. I personally don't agree, but it's just how everybody is. They think they've got to live in Belgium. They think they've got to live and breathe it in Belgium.
I've seen that,
yeah. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. But certainly, since James in 2000, or 2001, there's not been a world title. So maybe that's not correct. Who knows?
Yeah. Do you think that could be gathering why the guys, sort of the British lads, seem to be very specialised in the stand almost, because if they're all over there, that basing themselves over there, they get to ride it quite a lot.
Yeah, there is that, but I mean, I'm also an advocate that you ride too much sand, you get slower on other stuff. I couldn't ride sand in the beginning. I wasn't a particularly good sand rider, but I went over there and 2 weeks before the races, and I just got stuck in. I think a lot of it's a mindset thing. I think, a lot of it's in the mind. Yeah. This year I kind of watched a lot of the young kids that we've got. And I don't subscribe to the fact that I don't think we've got talent, because I do genuinely think we have.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think sooner or later one of them will hook up. You look at Conrad, all right, he didn't have a brilliant day today, but you would like to think that he's starting to turn the corner. He's got the benefit of Stephen's sword now, which I think has probably helped him in some departments of his racing.
Yeah.
He's got a good team behind him, and he's starting to show some real promise. So who's to say that he can't be in the mix next year?
There's obviously, we've seen flashes of brilliance of all these sort of guys. Max Anstey, you mentioned Max earlier, winning some motos and things like that, but it seems to be hard for them all to put it together on a regular basis. Do you think, like, even personally yourself, when you rode, you had the mindset? That's a massive thing as well, like the mental side.
Yeah, I think my mindset had always been there from when I was young, whether I was playing football, rugby, whatever. I always wanted to be competitive and win.
Yeah.
Not to say that the guys now are not like that, but certainly the will to win and that mental strength seems to be a little bit more on the continental rides. You look at Vial, he's come from next to nowhere. He did a year on European, he did a year in Grand Prix, and now, barring any disaster, he's going to be world champion.
Yeah.
So who's to say that one of our Brits can't do that?
Yeah, sure. Got a question from Adam Winslet from the VMX guys. Any regrets of not keeping any of the HRC Hondas?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's fair to say that if I had that time again, as we said earlier, I would probably have stayed. Does he mean the racing?
Any regrets for not keeping any of the HRC Honda? I think he means.
Oh, you mean bikes? You mean the bikes?
Yeah,
No,
sorry.
not really. Maybe the 86 one a little bit, but none of
Yeah.
the other.
Yeah. What else is someone's put, what was Weston like on the 500? It looked crazy.
I love Weston. I think I loved it as a rider, although it is a challenge for everybody, whether you're a pro or a novice, it is a challenge. I still enjoy, when it's on, I enjoy going to watch now. It's to stand somewhere near that first corner and see all the guys coming down, whether you're in it or you're not. It's quite a buzz. It's definitely a box to tick in life to say that you've done Weston, because it is an experience.
Yeah. Before I ask any more questions, I've got another memory one from Kaz Wright. She's put, not really a question, a memory. I remember Dave's bike blew up and he wasn't allowed to use a spare bike. He borrowed my brother's RM100 and won his race in the seniors. All the other riders were on 125s. I remember my dad saying to Keith that David would be a world champion one day. And this happened in about 75, 76. And as a junior, he was my idol. Wonderful memories.
Yeah, that's nice. I don't remember that. My dad probably would, but I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's nice. It's like I say, for me, it's just when I go through the album and I look at old pictures, that's when I have little flashbacks.
Yeah. I'd have to try and get an interview with your dad at some point. That'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he just had a new hip, bless him. So
he's got a bit of recovery at the minute.
No, he's back. He's back.
Oh, he's all right.
6 or 7 weeks ago. No, he's back now. He's he'll be back into work 7 o'clock Monday. He loves it.
Oh, he's still at it. I'll have to try to get a word in with you then. Richard Edwards, give me a question earlier. At what point did Dave know enough was enough and it was time to stop racing?
That's a good one. I think in '93, I found myself putting as much effort in as I'd always done.
Yeah.
Losing the ability to bounce when I crashed. I started to land heavy. And whatever made me a bit special had gone. And I always said all my life that Eric and I used to banter. He always used to say to me, I'm going to quit when I'm world champion. And he did in 90. He literally did. Yeah. And I always said to him, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait and till I realise I can't do it anymore. So when I go into civilian life, I won't be thinking, could I have done it one more time? So 93 was the year that I kind of really knew that at the highest level I was done.
Was that like this? Was it Cinti Honda?
No, that was 92.
That was 92.
93 I did with Honda UK.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone else put 84 Mega GP. You chose not to attempt the double jump, especially after your practice mishap. What are your memories of that weekend?
Well, a fab weekend, but obviously the jump was a massive part of that. Everybody remembers that weekend because of the jump and possibly my win. But Dad had suggested I didn't do it. I did have one failed attempt, which I got lucky with and just about somehow saved it. Eric had a failed attempt and broke his leg, as we know. But yeah, I mean, that picture, well, you never get bored of seeing the picture of George jumping over Andre, do you? It's amazing with the crowd. Almost you can feel the atmosphere in the back. The crowd are right across the back. It's Hawkstone at its best, really.
I've had one from Bob Stacey. Can you do any mechanical work on motocross bikes, prep a bike for a race? We all knew your dad was a fantastic spanners.
Well, as my son Ryan will tell you, I'm useless. I can do basic stuff.
I'm glad that's not just me then.
I can do basic stuff. To be fair, when I was younger, and you know, like we as kids, we all like to get involved, don't we, with our parents when they're doing the bikes. But my dad was always adamant that he wanted me to be a normal kid. So when my mates were going up the field playing football, he'd want me to go with him. He didn't want me to have to go in the workshop and help him with a bike. So he kind of pushed me away from that, although it didn't take a lot of persuasion, because I enjoy playing football. But it kind of never drove me to learn about it. The only thing that I did learn about as I got older was the feeling. So when we tested, I had a good feel. I knew what was right or wrong, or more importantly, what I wanted, what I didn't. But in terms of mechanical ability, it's right down there with the basics.
Oh, I'm glad. If that's all right for DT, that's good for me as well. Then. Right, I've got a good one for Terry Ward has put. Should you ever race the Spanish GP in 1987? What does that mean? Do you know what that means? Should you have ever raced the Spanish GP in 87?
The mud one.
I'm sure that's one. Yeah,
mud one. Yeah, it didn't. Well, it's arguable that it could have been cancelled before we got there. But the actual track itself didn't roll out too bad in the end. I think that's what he's referring to.
Yeah.
Guadalajara it was at. Kind of like the track myself. Eric hurt himself there, I think, that day. And from memory, I think Mark Banks might have almost won a race. I think last lap he fell off on the double at the bottom, which gave me the win, I think. But yeah, I never shied away from mud races when it was muddy, so it didn't really worry me too much.
I've got a question. I'm sure he's one of your old mechanics. He actually presented me with one of my presentation ones at Morden Club. Is Colin Thomas?
Oh yeah, Colin.
He's put Alec White was a big character and very controversial back in the day. I have nothing bad to say about him, as he always looked after me. How did Dave get along with him?
Oh, Alec, how can you? Yeah. When you raced for Alec, he was when you're in his circle, he was brilliant. He was controversial, and he liked to be controversial, I feel. I think he liked to see people's reaction. But for us, you know, as a rider and a family, he was good. He was a good guy for us. He took me on after the AMCA with Kawasaki. He was really the founder of Team Green. He was the big push with Japan for the 60s when they first got produced. Yeah, he was the driver on that. And there's not only me, but a lot of people have got a lot to thank for with Alec. And then when Honda come along to offer me a Grand Prix ride, he was very fair then. You know, he didn't really stand in my way. He could have made it difficult. He was... No, he's a good guy. You don't get characters like that in our sport anymore. He's a good guy.
He always done well by you then.
Yeah, he was always good by me.
Yeah, cool. Someone's put where was Foxhill in the list of your favourite tracks? Yeah,
I like Foxhills. I went to one of the first races there. You know, when they used to start down the bottom. I remember coming down them big hills. They jump down now, and they had them sheep ruts. You know, where the sheep keep walking across, and you've got all them little steps. I remember racing there then. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a great track for atmosphere with the spectators. You know, in that bowl type effect. I'm kind of hoping there's a British Championship there in 2021 because it'll make for good racing.
I've got Gareth Edwards has put, I have to ask about the KX500 factory bike. How good or bad was it?
It was good. To be honest with you, the bike that I had in 1982, pretty sure it was 82, was a 443 configuration. And that bike was super. I loved it. The power delivery was a linear curve, but lots and lots of power, really torquey. The Lackey type 500 499 with the blue engine.
Yeah.
That wouldn't necessarily be one of my favourites on the Kawasaki's, but the 443 bike, I had a lot of success on it, and I really enjoyed that bike.
Okay, fair enough. Someone's put Hub Gerlins. He's put, hello, Dave. How do you think back to the Holland days, the circuits and the support from Holland? What are your memories of that?
I always had a lot of good times in Holland, you know, both as a racer and with the spectators. I love Valkenswaard. I love Markelo. I've had some great races. Even when you go back to my AMCA days, I had some great races in Belgium and Holland on the Red Rocket. Yeah, the Dutch people really like their motocross, and whilst every nationality wants their riders to do well, if there's a good race and there's something to cheer about, then they get right behind it, and I like that.
I was going to mention to you, actually, because I did an interview with Mike Healy, and he sort of mentioned back in the day that some of the fans used to be quite OTT, like, and be sort of almost throwing stuff over fences and stuff like that if you were beating the home guys. Did you ever have any experiences of that at all?
Yeah.
There was
I had a straw bale thrown on me in Namur.
Right.
Yeah, just before the cafe up there.
Did
and
you?
then little story with Eric and I in '89 when we were racing past the cafe.
Yeah.
When he was in the lead, someone would spray beer in his face, and he would always think it was the Brits. And then in the next lap, if I was in the lead, then I'd get beer sprayed in my face, and I was thinking it was the Belgians. So the reality was someone was just having a laugh with both of us. It was quite a nice taste, though, when you're starting to get tired.
Yeah, licking down the inside of the goggles and that.
It just didn't help with the tear-off situation, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. Stephen Honey's, but do you know who's going to replace Bill Bates yet? And any ideas of going to the World Championships with the current team?
No ambition to go to Grand Prix. Our sponsors and partners are all British based. Honda UK provide us bikes and material for the UK market, so no aspirations to do Grand Prix. Quite excited for the British Championship next year with Gareth running the show. That would be good. MX National's been amazing this year. If they can carry on as they did, then that would be great. And yes, we do have another title sponsor. I signed that on Thursday, and it will be announced sometime in December. We did a deal for the next 2 years, so I'm happy with that.
That's brilliant then. That's good news. Were you happy, obviously, with the season? I know, obviously, it was very strange times this year. No one's ever been through this before. But the MX National, as you said, Tommy, what would you think of the guys this year? Jake and Stephen, obviously.
Do you know what? The racing this year has been amazing, and I feel for the fans really that they haven't been able to watch it, because there's been some great races. Yeah. And on a personal level, our team has been brilliant. You know, Jake and Tommy have battled all year. I felt a little bit for Stephen because in the way the racing is formatted, it's very difficult for your MX2 guy in a 450 race. And you don't really see the true race because they're up against big bikes all the time. I like what they've done next year with MX Nationals, where on the Saturday they're racing against MX2 bikes. I think that would be better. But for us as a team, we can't thank the riders enough. They've done a brilliant job under difficult circumstances. Yeah.
Now I've got a question come up, not name on it. Who got through the most clutches this year, Jake or Tommy?
Well, if anybody went to get a clutch this year from Honda and there wasn't any, you can blame Jake and Tommy.
That's why then.
All joking aside, they will both tell you they never use it. They will both actually stand in front of you and say they don't use it. So the good news is that the 2021 450's got a hydraulic clutch. So hopefully we will eradicate a lot of our problems.
So I've seen lately you've done a bit of on the videos and all that on your social media. You've been doing a bit of testing with the new bikes. How has that been and what was that like?
We were doing some stuff with a 250 with a young rider that we're going to take on, but not ready to announce that yet.
Okay.
So yeah, we can't start with the 450. Rye's hoping to get a 450. I think Graham said that they should be with us late November. So we're going to have Ryan will have 6 or 8 weeks with the guys here, and then we'll go to Spain and continue our program ready for the start of the season in March.
Okay, cool. Someone's asked Dave about who was the hardest rider at a home GP. So I'm presuming they mean some riders that were just especially good at their own GPs in their home country.
Yeah, the Italians were always good in Italy.
Mm.
That was always very evident. And you have, it as proved today at the at Lommel, in Belgium, in the sand, in Holland, you get a lot of local riders that can still be on the pace. They can really be a thorn in your side. And for me, a classic example of that is, Greg Hansen. When we used to race in England, Greg was a proper thorn in my side on many occasions. And yet, when we crossed that little bit of water in a Grand Prix, he just wouldn't be there. And I could never quite understand what happened, because in England he was amazing, and we went to Grand Prix and it just sort of shrunk a little bit. Yeah, it's strange how people excel in their own patch.
I think that's a mental thing as well, thinking about that now.
It's got to be. It's got to be. Yeah. It's yeah. I just don't know. I don't know. I guess if we could bottle that, we could earn a fortune.
We could, Dave. Yeah. Jamie Breaker's just popped up and put, does DT want me to give him a quote to build him a nice big boys room in his garden where he can keep all his memorabilia? Jamie Breaker.
Probably not. No. It's all boxed up. Tell him. It's it's all boxed up.
There we go. Someone's put, DT, do you think there are too many British championships now? Where before it was the top 40 qualifying for British, then it was a support class.
I know where he's going with that, and I think it's a valid point.
Yeah.
But when you had that system, you also had a thriving centre series. You had the Southwest, you had Eastern Centre, you have Southeastern Centre, which I think Southeastern Centre is still going to a point, as is the Southwest. There's a series here, but I think for the guys and the teams that pull everything together, whether their partners are just product, or they buy product at a discounted price, or they get product and money, they get points money, I think you need to have something where they can able to showcase what they can offer. And I think the British Championship in its current format with the MXY2 class and MX2 is not too bad, and certainly MX Nationals is a brilliant opportunity for the kids to race on the same day as the pros. I watch the kids, how many of them go out and watch Tommy and Jake and Stephen in the main race, and how many kids can race on the same day as their sort of their superstars. But I know where he's going with it, and it's I guess it's just how it is. The centre stuff has stopped to a point. How it used to be. Far more practice tracks now for us all to go to. Far more choice of a weekend. Shall I spend 30 quid go practicing, or shall I spend 50 quid and go racing?
Yeah, that's true. Nikki Colclough's puts, what's your view on the 23-year-old age limit currently in MX2?
I'm not a fan of it, if I'm honest. I understand why Giuseppe introduced it in the beginning, and you could argue, if you look at Prada, that he is someone that's come through the. There's a dog barking your end.
Yeah, there was actually.
Yeah, that's what he is.
That was she barked.
Yeah, she barked. You'd look at Prada and you'd say that the boy, he's done well. He's won a couple of world titles, then gone MX1 and looks amazing. I have always been of the opinion that you should be allowed to ride what you ride best. If you look, I got on a big bike when I was 16. Never looked back. people today, because of the age group, they tend to be fixated on, I'm going to ride MX2 till I'm 23. And the argument with that for them is that people will say you've got a long time to ride the 450, which is true, you have. But there's a person that rode for me not so many years ago, and I know that he's a far better 450 rider than the 250 rider. And he would have been so much further up that journey if he'd have continued to ride the 450 like I know he could.
I've got Ben Piggins put, how come, is it Dionyse? Is that how they pronounce it? The kit, I remember the kit you had. Dionyse never released a kit to the public, what you wore from 89 to 93.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? I mean, Lino, it was the guy that owned Dionyse at that time. He's since sold it on to a consortium, but he, someone that was friends with me was a personal friend of his, and he kind of did it because of the friendship, not quite so much about a commercial aspect. If you look back, they did go on and do some enduro trail stuff, but they never really did motocross in any real drive. So it was, the initial concept of it was about friends of friends. That's where it generated, and I got on really well with Lino when I went there. We hit it off. So as with many things in life, it's sometimes it's about people rather than the product.
Yeah. I got Kevin Barnett. He's put, who's Dave's favourite football team? He's a long-time fan of Dave's, been to Namor, and used to follow Eastwood Banks, Vic Allen, and Brian Wade. Who's your favourite football team? Kevin's asking. He's got three, by the way.
Yeah. I've always been a Chelsea boy. Always.
Oh, wow.
I know. Yeah, it's always been my thing.
Okay. So's my mum, but that's not. I'm a Man United fan as well, so you probably know. Someone's put, who will be Jack Talbot's, but who do you think could possibly be a next British World Champion?
I'd like to think that Conrad has got a shout.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of his age. I know he's got 1 or 2 years left in MX2. But he's proved of late that he's not far away. And as with all the youngsters, it's a lot about mindset.
Yeah.
Thereafter, after that, you probably need to look into the 65s and 85s, for which I'm not going to shout any names out there, but there's some kids in there that have got a lot of talent, and they're training with good people, I think there's a few kids there that have got a really good opportunity to do well.
There's not a name on this one. How much of a buzz did you get when you saw the British fans at the Euro GPs, such as Namor, Bro, etc.? How much did it help you in them days?
Oh, the crowd! Oh, immense! It's just amazing, really. I talked to my little girl about the crowd, and she watches the stuff on YouTube and that. But you never really get that impression. Like places like Namur, when you jump back in the arena, it was like someone scoring a goal at a football match. It was amazing, really. It was a wonderful time to be involved with the motocross.
I was personally only 12 years old in '89. I went to my first meeting with Farley to see you in the 5 GP, and pretty sure I didn't sort of change from like that the whole day. It was amazing, like the mouth wide open, just like unbelievable. The atmosphere, you in front. Oh wow!
Yeah, no, they were good days.
I got Stacey Harmon. I remember him racing in the old four strokes and all that. Who was quicker around the woods? Run, you or Dickie Dye?
He knows it was Dickie.
That's what he's
asking. Stacey, and amongst others, there was plenty of us used to train with Rich, and they were good times, good old-fashioned ways to train. Nowhere to hide, but albeit we got in really good shape at the end of it, with a lot of fun going on the way.
Someone's put, what did you think of the banners? I'm presuming you mean sports supporters banners in Luxembourg '86. It said Eric's a kid, Thorpe is our man.
Yeah, we used
Remember
Derek and I used to joke about them because he could obviously read English really well.
Yeah.
So he knew what was being said, but there was a lot of Belgian banners which I can't read their language, so I used to ask him what it said and he'd tell me, and I'd say, "Are you serious?" And he'd go, "No, I'm only joking, Dave, it's not really that." It's like, yeah.
I've got David Campbell, Scottish crosser. Remember him?
Yeah.
Haley, tell Dave thanks for his words of wisdom, which he gave me after my first British Championship race in '91, and points which I scored at Curden Park. It gave me the confidence to believe in myself, and to be told by Dave was unreal, as he was a god to me in motocross. Cheers, Dave.
Oh, that's nice. I mean,
Nice.
yeah, but people like Dave and that, it's part of it, isn't it? It's you look at lots and lots of riders that have gone through British motocross, they've gone on and they've done well for themselves, and yeah, it's always nice to be part of that.
I've got Ben Masters. He's put, "Hi DT, please could you give a big shout out to Daniel Marsh on doing 25 consecutive Western Beach race every year on a Honda. He would love a big shout out from you, from me and John Radford here having a beer watching this."
Oh, that's nice. Well, fair play. Would you say he's done 20 on the bounce?
25. Daniel Marsh.
25. Wow.
Daniel Marsh, yeah.
Daniel Marsh, that is something. I can't imagine there's too many people that have done any more than that.
No.
So he would have 25. So he would have been involved when Dave Smith ran it, when we used to ride through the town. So he would have been right there in the beginning when it was all riding. We used to park in the aeroplane hangar and ride through the town. That was an experience.
Shout out to Daniel Marsh then, and John Radford and Ben Masters. Loved racing with those guys as well. Mark Slade has put, "How did Dave come to wear the Carrera?" Is that how you pronounced it? Carrera goggles? I remember them on you. They were big in the ski world, but you've never seen them for sale as motocross goggles.
Yeah. So that come about because I couldn't get the deal I wanted from Oakley. So I just made contact with somebody at Carrera, and it just got driven from them. The difficult part was with the Carrera goggle is that also didn't have a real face mask for it. Like you say, they were more of a ski goggle, so it was quite a challenge in the beginning to stop them steaming up and different bits and pieces, but we got there in the end.
So I remember the green one you had when you, obviously, like 1990.
Yeah,
and it looks almost like one of them sort of paintball shooting ones now, like that.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. It was a challenge, that stuff. It didn't look the best, to be fair, as my sons have pointed out to me many times.
Right. Jason Peters has put, "You should have raced a sidecar motocross for a couple of years. You would have been world champion of that as well. I'd have rode with you."
Oh, I don't know about that. Jason, he was big friends with one of my friends, Terry Good. And he used to live quite close to me, Terry Good, back in the 80s. And he took me for a spin on the sidecar once. He drove a night and it scared me to death. It really did. But, you know, when I was young in the 80s, I always used to do a lot of, they used to have the under-18 championship, same day as the sidecar championship. And I used to love watching those guys. And I used to love racing on the same track as them, because there was an art of following the sidecar wheel, not the main wheel, because that was the deep rut and the other one was the skinny rut. They were good times. You don't see that very often now, sidecars and solos at the same meeting, which is a shame, because it did, for the public, it gave them another angle to watch.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, I went to Foxhill and saw a Nora MX thing. I think they had sidecars, quads, and solos. It was like superb. Taking photos of all that, it's amazing. Sidecars dragging along the floor and all that. The old passengers, Jesus, they're crazy, aren't they? Someone's put, "Hi Dave, hope you're well. A name from the past. I'm Barney Kennett, one of the 3 Kennett brothers from Junior Grass Track." Did you ever do any grass track or anything like that?
Yeah. When I was young, Dad, I used to do grass track. I really enjoyed that. Dad tried to get me to do a bit of everything, really. just on two wheels, just without a slider bike, and it's going back some time, that is.
Yeah, I know Eddie Kennett rode for Swindon as well near me, and he's a good rider as well. So, did you ever do speedway?
I've had a go.
Did you?
Not for me, if I'm honest. Mainly because we race motocross and we're used to brakes. The no brake thing is a problem for me. The brake is a comfort for me, and as you know, speedway bikes don't have a brake. And do you know what? The other bit that surprised me was I did it on a corporate day actually once, and it just because there's also not a gear shift either. I found it incredibly powerful, very enjoyable, but not something that I'd rush back to.
I've been looking at your off-road Honda days. You still do them, don't you?
Yeah.
It's been about sort of 20 years since I last rode, and my brother's even longer than that, but I've both been looking at it, and we were sort of thinking about coming over and doing one of your days. What does that involve then? I see that you literally supply the whole lot, don't you?
Yeah, so we got two things. We've got the off-road school where you don't need a license.
Okay.
And it's all on private land. We provide the bikes, the kit, everything. And then we've got the adventure one, which is the Africa Twin, where you do need a road bike license, a full bike license.
Okay.
But they're really good days. They're good for two reasons really. The first one is, and I guess the main reason is to try the Honda brand. That's what that's all about.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And then the second one about the Dave Thorpe Honda off-road one is for someone like yourself that has not ridden for some time, is to relight that fire of off-road riding, whether it be motocross or trail or enduro. It just gives them that buzz. We had a great event on Saturday with some guys. We generally do one a week.
Oh, okay. So is that the four-stroke, isn't it?
Yeah, Honda don't make a two-stroke, not even a two-stroke strimmer now. Everything's four-stroke.
That's the thing as well. And of course, obviously, being from back then, never raced a four-stroke, rode a four-stroke or anything. So that'd be interesting.
Yeah, the bikes are amazing. The one comment that we get through people that have not ridden for years is how good the bikes are. And that magic button makes all the difference when you get to be an age and you haven't got a kickstart.
Yeah, that does sound good. Even when I've been kicking this RM in the back garden, I've been doing that like with a pair of trainers on. Hub Gerlins put, what did you think of Jeff Leask as a teammate and his riding style?
Amazing style. A really nice character as well. Really quiet, a little bit like myself, just quiet. Just got on with the job. But amazing rider, good sound rider. I got lucky really with him because his fitness probably wasn't quite as strong as Eric and myself. So if you look at the results, a lot of the time Jeff would win the first race and then we would get him in the second race because his fitness wasn't quite as good as ours. But as a rider, brilliant rider, great technique, American style in Europe. It was good to watch.
Yeah. Ewan Johnson's put, ask him what he thinks of Supercross and indoor stuff.
Love it. I love it. I love watching it. I really enjoy the Supercross. Gonna miss the arena cross this year because of COVID and I guess various other reasons. But I think the arena cross in the UK, whilst it's not Supercross, it does draw in a lot of people that maybe would have not gone to watch motorcycling. And then the stuff in America, it just gets tougher and tougher, doesn't it? You know, those jumps are, as much as you watch it and you think, oh yeah, I could do that. The reality is when you see someone further down struggling to get across them, you realise how difficult it is.
Yeah, very. Ashley Fodder's put, what does Dave feels set him apart from his rivals during his championship wins? Fitness, work ethic, team setup, or something else? Don't say luck.
No. Fitness would have helped me a lot. Mindset would have helped me a lot. Factory Honda would have helped me massively. And yeah, sometimes everything worked in my favour. Other times it didn't. Like in '87, I was winning the World Championship. I hurt myself. '88, I was winning. I hurt myself. Those years I just didn't quite roll. But yeah, being in a HRC team at that point in the '80s was definitely a massive help.
Someone's put, how did Dave get on with Graham Noyce in '83 at HRC? Did Graham share any useful information?
You know what? Graham was good to me. I went across and did some training with his trainer in Belgium, and I learned a lot from Graham, good and bad. My dad would always sort of lean on me, and everything Graham did really, really well. And then maybe some of Graham's other attributes that wasn't quite so good for motocross, he would lean across and say, "That's where you don't want to go, son." And he was a really good role model at that time.
Shame I can't see some of these guys' pictures and profiles come out. They need to go in and click and get the permission for it. But anyway, do you think the mechanics race should be back on the calendar? Asking for a friend.
I think it'd be problematic now because of the tracks and insurance and everything. I mean, they used to be great fun, didn't they? Neil Prince always used to pull something out of the bag for those races. But yeah, when you look back in the old days, there was a lot of fun that went along with the racing, and in some aspects now it's a little bit more serious, isn't it?
Yeah. I got one from Paul Spagagni. But when you rode 500s, it seemed like you had to be big and strong to handle one. Now it seems more like you have to be more like a jockey. Any of the current riders, do you feel handle a 500 like you guys did?
Well, I think he's got a valid point because we were all quite big apart from Eric. So Eric,
was quite small. Yeah,
he was quite small. Maybe the guys today, I don't know. It's so much. It's more about the modern day rider with his fitness. Their nutrition. They tend to be leaner, don't they? A lot more how the Americans used to be in my day. They were Bailey and Johnson. They were all very, very lean. Not a lot of body fat, and it's just probably just the way the whole thing is now.
I've got Derek Mansfield put, he was when I raced, and then to go to big meetings later in life, I worked in a Bradley Briggs yard, and his dad had a workshop there. It was fantastic to see the bits in there.
Yeah, my dad had a workshop there at Spencer and Bradley's yard. John Briggs, bless him, when he was alive, he had a workshop there. They really looked after my dad. Dad used to store a lot of stuff there. In fact, we run the Cat Honda team from there in the early days. Wow. That was based out of there as well. So, happy memories.
Someone's put, do you recall Brett Steele in the British Championships in the 80s, a local lad to us?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was fast. Someone's
put a good Derbyshire rider he rode on a Honda. He was.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was really fast.
Oh, someone's put, did Dave ever want to try the YZM?
No, not in an unfriendly way. I once had a conversation with Yamaha Japan, but it didn't go any further than a conversation because I stayed with the Honda. But no, never ridden one. Not in anger anyway, only for fun.
Someone's put, did DT see that Neville Bradshaw win the AMCA race on a CR 500?
I did see that. Fair play to him. He's a great pro, isn't he? He enjoys his riding. He's raced at the highest level, and I'm sure the 500 really suits him. But I bet it was a shame we couldn't watch it. People couldn't watch it because I would imagine it was quite good to watch.
Yeah, exactly that. So Derek Mansfield put, what was your best ever memory before the HRC days?
82. I won the Grand Prix on the Kawasaki. I won a race in Sittendorf. Yeah, they were good memories because I didn't.
I have results from multiple sports. Which one would you like?
Wow, is that me or you?
That wasn't me.
It must be on mine. The Kawasaki days in '82 were less pressure. You know, it was more about fun. There wasn't the expectation that you have when you go under the HRC awning. So '82 I had a lot of good memories.
Someone's put, "Hi Dave, no name on it. Should Honda make a two-stroke again?"
Well, I'm sure that the powers that be, there'll be something at some point, whether it be a two-stroke, probably not, but probably at some point there'll be something different. I mean, this year I used to look at our bike at the build-based team and think, don't know how they can improve that. That's an amazing bike, the chassis and everything. Yeah. And then when I went across to Manchester 2 weeks ago, you ride the new bike with everything new on it and you think, oh my God, they've gone again. They've gone on another level. And there isn't anything, and I know people will say I'm a Honda person, but there isn't anything at Honda that doesn't surprise me because they just they make the better, and I don't quite know how they do that sometimes.
I went to an eBay meeting last week, and it was at Wickwar in Gloucestershire, and there literally was a 125 race, and it was stacked with Hondas from 80s, 90s. Your Tom Churches and all them, John Mays. There was loads of guys, and they were like absolutely flying on them. It was like awesome to watch.
Yeah. Well, I speak to Tom regularly, and he really enjoys that racing at the minute. So that's good. Yeah, it's the older guys just going back on the smaller bikes and having fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen, but I see Kurt Nichols been riding a 125 in America quite a bit against Alessi and stuff like that. It's like, wow.
Has he? Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
125. Would you fancy the 125?
When I did last race Farley properly, I did do it on a 125, and I did thoroughly enjoy it.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
I got who was that? Steve Carty put, Dave's dad was a great rider in his own right, especially in the dad's race.
Dad used to ride when he was in the army and when he come out of the army. He what they used to call him, Spider. He used to have a spider on his helmet, and he used to do the motocross, the scramble race and the sidecar all on the same day. Yes. Dad loves the bikes. I'm not so sure. What is he now? He's 83 in November. I'm not so sure he'd be keen to get on a bike now.
Yeah. Richard Myram's put, do you still do any training? I heard you do a lot of cycling these days.
I do cycling. Yeah, to be honest, in lockdown I did a lot of cycling. I haven't done so much late because I've had a lot of team stuff to sort out. But I do enjoy my cycling, and living in Devon where we live, there's some great cycles here, mountain bike and on the road. It's been really good.
Paul Evans put, Dave, what made you return and race to the Remedies Bar Championship in the Southwest in the early 2000s?
I think when I moved to the Southwest, and Ryan at the time was keen to ride, you know, I was going to take Ryan, so I thought I might as well ride myself. So, yeah, it was a great series. I had a lot of fun in those years with Paul Cowshaw and the guys. It was good.
Yeah, I used to race with Paul Cowshaw as well. He's a good rider. Someone's put, if you could ride a track round the other way, what track? Holstone, Ling, or Namor?
Well, do you know what? I often think about, you know, because we keep going back to the same tracks and they go the same jumps, everything's the same. And I often wonder why they don't consider doing them the other way, just reshaping some of the stuff, because it would just make something a little bit different, wouldn't it? But then they start talking about permits that have been issued for a track the certain way around. And yeah, I'm not sure which track would be good. I would imagine Hawkstone would be good coming down that hill you go up.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
It would be, yeah. Someone would probably deem it too fast, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it'd be different, something different.
Yeah, I actually remember a few years ago seeing on, I don't know where it was on Facebook or whatever, someone coming down on a mountain bike down the hill at Hawkstone and then going off that jump that goes up the hill.
I saw that as well.
Yeah, I saw this.
And the funniest part of that was the bloke shouting in the background, if you remember. It wasn't actually the guy that was on the cycle. It was some guy that was filming it. His commentary was the funniest bit.
Yeah, he got very excited, especially as he went over the jump. Gareth Edwards put, "Do you still ride for fun, Dave?"
Always ride. Yeah, I ride at least once a week currently, and I thoroughly enjoy it. Yeah, I do enjoy it.
Paul Spagagni put, "How many schoolboy presentations did you do?"
Yeah, he knows it as well. I did loads.
Yeah.
My dad always used to encourage me to do presentations, and in those days, of course, there were like lots and lots of schoolboy tracks. Schoolboy clubs. So there was always a lot to be done.
I got one here, and someone's got to give a nice memory. I can't see the name, but it says, "Thank Dave for writing a personal letter back as part of my English school in 1982. I had to write a letter to our hero, and Dave wrote back. He wrote back, and we plastered the English classroom walls with his Kawasaki posters. The year when Dave just missed out to Brad Lakey at Farley in 82.
Ah, right. Yeah, early days. Yeah. I think we went 1-3, 3-1. He went. Yeah.
We're going for each other now.
Yeah.
Does DT remember being ill at the Hodner and Howard Lucas?
Ill?
Yeah.
Say it again?
Did DT remember being ill at the Hodnett with Howard Lucas?
I think it's a nice way of saying pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah, funnily enough, I do. Cool, Howard Lucas, there's a memory. Yeah. Yeah. I think it had something to do with Colin Wright as well, from memory. Yeah. In fact, I think that's the first time I've ever been drunk.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's why you brought that up then. David Campbell put, "Do you remember doing a race at Patchquick? Once seen a yellow flag waving, noticed it was Dave on the Marshall point, nearly fell off myself."
Do you know what? When I go to the local races, if they're ever short for marshals and that, I enjoy doing that. I genuinely do. I think it's great fun. But yeah, it's I just people know I like anything to do with racing, whether it's whichever side of the fence.
Barry Dyson put, "Is there a book due? Have you read The Cracking Read by Rob Andrews?"
I've glanced at it. I haven't read it in depth.
Same.
There will be a book due.
Is there?
Yeah, it will be out. It will be out probably November next year. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and funnily enough, when I get off the phone from you, I've got to ring Jack because I'm kind of hoping Jack Bernicle is going to write it for me.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
We better let you do that. Then these guys will literally go on all night, Dave. I appreciate your time, mate.
That's all right.
Unbelievable. To get to speak to you is a privilege at any time.
Thank you for making the call.
I really appreciate it, Dave. I'm sure the guys will be really happy. It'll be out there now on all the social medias and everything. And hopefully see you soon at the races at some point, Dave.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave. Take it easy, mate.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye. Right, people. So, with the main man, we better let him go. He's got to make another call. Very interesting that he just mentioned about that he's going to be writing a book. And he's making a call to Jack Bernicle by the sounds of it. And he's talking, what was that, next November? So I'm assuming he's talking a year's time. Thanks very much for all the questions and everything. I tried to get through as many as I could. Thank you very much. Basically, guys, there's a lot of you that still need to just go on that streamyard.com/Facebook and then agree to let StreamYard go onto your profile. Because look, I'll just show you something here. It says, look, brilliant from a Facebook user, see, so I don't get to quote your name or know who it is. Where say hubby alert, thanks Lee and Dave, Hub Girlins. You can see his profile and his name, so I can quote who's saying it. Like that, look. Mega do again. Thanks very much for whoever that is, but it just doesn't come up, see, if you don't give it permission to use your profile, basically, from Facebook. So you just need to go on I think it did say it at the start of the stream, you go to streamyard.com/Facebook, and you just basically allow it to use your Facebook. Thanks, Jason Thomas. Can you see how it comes up? Look, Wicked Levitt, thank you very much, but it doesn't come up with your name. And then obviously the guys that have given it permission. Whoever put superb, well done, Lee. Thanks very much. Thanks, Dave from Steve. See how the difference, it comes up with your name and picture, and then I can put it up on the screen and we can see who's quoted and who's said exactly what. It's just a little thing, but it'll. I'm sure you guys will be able to sort that out for next time. We've got a lot of interviews coming up. Now I've sorted out this StreamYard. Any thoughts of this now on the StreamYard live? Definitely better than pointing my mobile phone at the laptop when I did Mike Healy. Definitely more professional, as it were. So did you guys all like it like that? Cracking interview. Ben Piggin, thank you very much. Great interview. Thanks, Barry. Thanks, Richard. See one there. Look, thanks for Lee. It just comes up like that. Great interview, Lee Ashby. Thanks, Reg. Top job, Matt Coles. Thank you very much. Great listen again, mate. Quality, thank you. Much appreciated, everyone. There it is there, look. So see Adam Winslet from VMX. He's just put it up on the screen, look. Streamyard.com/Facebook, and then I think you just give it permission, like as if you had a little game on your Facebook or whatever, and it has to like get onto your Facebook. Then I can see your profile picture and your name, so that every time you come in with a comment, I'll be able to quote you. And David Campbell put, even I can do that. That's saying something. Thank you, lovely Laney. Thanks, Adam. Really appreciate help, Adam. Adam Winslet, big shout out to you. Much appreciated for sorting me out with this StreamYard. I think it's definitely the way to go. Way more professional. Good to interact with everyone. I'm sure everyone will get it down with sorting out the profile pictures and giving it the permission and everything. Then, yeah, loads to come, people. I'm looking to speak to Stefan's dad, Harry, a former full-time world champion himself, Harry Everts. So I'm looking to have Harry Everts one evening this week coming up. I'm speaking to another Speedway legend, Andy Graham, one of the Graham brothers, 1982 British Speedway champion. He actually raced with my dad at Milton Keynes in 1979 as well, Andy. So I've got a bit of a rapport there with him, but it'd be great to meet him. Oh, just got a comment from Jill Graham as well. His lovely wife, look. And there's Alan and Andy that got into sidecars as well, and they did motocross before they did Speedway, but we'll get into that on Tuesday. Thanks, Jill. Really looking forward to speak to Andy, so that'll be really good on Tuesday night. Thanks, Colin Thomas, legendary mechanic and a former BSMA champion himself. And actually, we didn't realise that we'd actually met before. He'd come to a Morden presentation evening to present me with my championship trophy, so that's cool. Works awesome. Thanks, Stefan. So it goes well. Thank you, Lee and Dave. I've not got a name on that one. Fantastic evening. Really enjoyed it. Philip Johnson, thank you very much. Jamie Dobb and Paul Malin, someone's put, yeah, I've agreed to do a live with Jamie Dobb, a live with Kurt Nichol, a live with Paul Cooper, a live with Rob Herring. So them 4 guys are to come. Now I've sorted this out. This will be much better to do. So there's 4 British legends there for me to do with you guys. Yeah, as I said, Harry Everts. Oh, another cracking one I've got as well. Massive thanks. I'm trying to get him on an interview as well. A lot of you will remember Tony Marshall, Team Green legend back in the BSMA days, and he went on to do 125 GPs, etc. And I think he did. I'm sure he was a test rider as well for DBR. I remember him always testing the bikes on the front of the covers with the new bikes and stuff. So yeah, Tony Marshall, I'd love to get him on, but he also did me a great favour. He got hold of former world champion, British legend Mark Laram. So another cracker. And I've spoke to Mark Laram now on WhatsApp today, and he's come back to me and said, yeah, we'll sort a time out to do it. So another absolute peach. I know I love saying peach, but it's better than cool that I keep doing. Brilliant interview. Thanks, Lee. Thank you very much. Lee, can you get Jem Watley? I've spoke to his wife a couple of times. He said Jeremy's quite old school, not into his gadgets and stuff like that. So, but I have been trying. That's better. Thanks, Ewan. What a wonderful interview. Thank you, Dave. Barry Jackson. Okay, thank you, Barry. Just got to make that little click on that thing next time. Well done, Lee. David White. Thank you very much. Loved it. Nice one, Lee. Lee Parker. Awesome. Top man, Lee and DT. Thanks, Ben Masters. Thanks very much for you doing that. You and Mr. John Radford. A couple of names from back in the day in the BSMA days. Great days with you guys. Appreciate that. That's cool. Really cool. I know Ben rides his older Suzuki's, don't you, Ben? And always do Farley and everything. And I see John Radford's back riding a Pro Circuit 125. Have you done any meetings yet, John? You'll have to let us know. A competition off-road school with Dave Thorpe for 4 to 6 people be ace. Yes, I'm actually looking to go myself with my brother. Not rode a 4-stroke before, so I'd be good. And I've seen them, and they look prepped lovely. The Hondas there, they give you all the kit and everything. And obviously, I haven't got any kit at the moment, which may change. Dean Harris from YouTube, great interview again, Lee. By the way, everyone, so it'll go live whenever I do a live now. It'll be live on my own Facebook, live in my motocross group, and you can also watch it through YouTube live as well, which I've hooked it up to. That's the 3 things. So you've got the option to do that as well, if that's better for anyone. Thanks, Lee. From the Ways family, thank you very much. Glad you said that because I can't see your profile on there. You have to hook me up with that. Phil Lloyd, fantastic job. Interview. Thank you very much, mate. Great job, Lee, Gary, David. Rick Miller, Lee, someone's put. I haven't got their name and thing up there. I did message Rick Miller on Facebook. He's not got back to me yet, so a little bit more of perseverance there, which, don't worry, I've done that. That's pretty much my full-time job round work, is slipping into people's DMs on a regular basis. And you have to keep going until you get these guys to come back to you, and hopefully they'll agree at some point. His boy's handy on a sidecar too. DT's the man. Well done, Lee. Thanks, Russ Jarman. Another British Championship and GP legend, Mr. Russ Jarman. You may have remembered my written interview I did with him in the group. Yeah, Jeremy Watley, quite a few people. Awesome work, Lee. Thanks, Kevin. Top man. Thank you very much. Don't forget, people. Don't want to forget that. There's only, for the RM 250 2-stroke, I've got in my bike competition, only 14 tickets left. Hoping to have some messages when I get off of this interview. You need the legend Dave Watson. I've definitely tried to get that. I've also been speaking to James Hudson, son of Neil Hudson. So hopefully be able to get Neil Hudson would be really cool. What about your uncle, your legend, your uncle, Martin Ashby? Yes. I've actually been trying to get hold of his wife, Brenda, on Facebook as well. I did speak to their son, Jonathan. You might have seen my cousin, Jonathan. I did his interview in Facebook recently. So, yeah, I am looking to speak to my uncle Martin. That would be really good. That would be a great interview. I think a lot of people would like to see. David Taylor, great job again, Lee. Keep up the great work. Thanks very much. John Radford, here he is. Yeah, mate, first race a few weeks ago. Bit of a mixed bag. I don't believe that, John. Don't play it down. Did you win? Kaz, right. Great interview, Lee. Thank you. I got your memory out as well, Kaz, so that was cool. I hope you heard that. If not, you'll have to listen to it back. Ian Mead, great interview. Thank you very much. Dave Watson, yes. Julian Rawson, good interview as always. Julian, I want to get an interview with you, Julian. I actually remember we actually had a little a race together. I want to say 97, 98. I think you turned up on it was on, we were on 125s. It was mixed in with 252 strokes. And I think you won it. I was second. And we were racing all the 250s as well. But we were beating all them on the 125 at Foxhill. I was on a Suzuki and you had an old Honda that was rapid. My bike, I remember my Suzuki was rapid. So we were passing 250s on a 125. So say no more. But yeah, that was awesome that day. And I didn't actually know because you were quite stealth, turned up, not in the program and all that sort of thing. And then someone come back to me and goes, you remember our British Championship rider, blah, 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 Julian Rawson? Yeah. I was like, oh, yeah. He was like, that was Julian Rawson. I was like, holy shit. So that was really good. And also, Julian, did you see that we talked about that thing with Dobby cutting the track back in the day in the BSMAs? I think it was a Welsh national. Do you remember any of that? But definitely want to interview you, Julian. I'm sure people remember you well. Cole someone's put up on no one's got not their name on it. I have spoke to Cole quite a few times. He did. I think he saw a post earlier on, and I spotted that it was him. So I have asked Cole a few times, and he did say he would do it. Still chasing that one. Stefan Honey, can you get Merv the Swerve? I did a written one for Merv through Max. Max Anstey did a written one for me, and he also sorted me out to do one through Merv and Anstey. But yeah, that would be a really good one, wouldn't it, to get on here like this? And I think I'm going to ask Max Anstey as well. I'd like to speak to Max, especially after the American outdoor series and all that's finished up and everything. And be good to see his views on going back to America, how it came about, that sort of thing. So I'd like to speak to Max on here. Would be cool, I think. He's a great character as well. And he was a really good lad. He come back to me. He was brilliant. Sorted out his dad's written interview for me. Got some pictures for me and everything. He was brilliant. DT's the man. Well done, Lee. Yes, he's definitely the man. Sorted. There you go, Aaron Potts. Look, you come up now that with a profile and everything. What else is on there? I enjoyed the interview, thanks. I'm not sure. Wicked times, mate. Lots of good memories. Yes, Julian, for sure. Do you still have a dabble anymore, Julian? Do you ride at all? But we'll definitely have to get hold of you, mate, and get an interview with you. That'd be really good. Great days. Especially as Julian, I'm even thinking about having a little dabble after 20 years. Yeah. Got to thank Kevin Walford as well, who's bought a ticket for the bike and actually said to me in Facebook earlier, he said that if he wins the bike, I'll have to ride it next year. So that was really nice of him. So you never know. Hopefully you'd be lucky enough to win. That would be good. But yeah, hopefully everyone enjoyed it. DT, he was a legend. Well, he'll always be a legend. Idol to many of us when we were kids. Especially you guys that a lot of guys have even been on tonight that got to ride with Dave. Maybe in the latter end of his career, some of the guys that came on, but amazing memories. And some of you guys, Paul Spagagni's and all that, I'm sure Cowshaw that I used to race with as well. It was a good rider, Paul Cowshaw. Got to race with him after he'd retired as well. It's just very cool, and the memories. But I really appreciate everyone getting involved tonight. It was brilliant. Didn't let me down at all. Absolutely packed with comments. I literally was like half of my mouth wide open, looking at the man himself, the ledge, Mr. Thorpe, and then trying to look slightly to the right and seeing all your comments. But I'll get that down better as we go. But like I said, it'd just be much better if we can get everyone to just click that link and get everyone's profile, because I want to get you guys' names out there when you ask a question, because there's been some cracking questions tonight, and couldn't name who it was, which was a shame. Especially, obviously, sometimes some of the things you say is relevant to your name and who it is and stuff like that. So it'd be nice to make sure, see, it comes up like that, see? It's just a bit of a bummer when you can't see the name or the profile. So we've got to just get that up again, look. Adam's put it up there, look. You just literally go to click on that, streamyard.com/Facebook, and you can give StreamYard the permission to use your Facebook profile, basically. It's simple as that. And then your picture comes up as so. David White, look, with a picture of your profile. Thanks, Ian. Appreciate that. Chris Overheard. Well done, mate. Thank you very much. I really appreciate everyone's comments. It's been absolutely brilliant. I was very nervous using the new system and it being live as well, which is obviously a bit of a different kettle of fish as well. But yeah, got loads organised. Well, when I say organised, agreeing it, and then obviously fixing a date to it. Doing it around work's not easy, but I'm doing my best for sure. Great interview, Lee. How about Lawrence Spence? Yes, another one. Oh yes, every 5 years. At least, yeah, that's not a bad thing to do, Julian. Just every 5 years, have a tick over. I've left it 20. Damn, it's going to hurt. It hurts thinking about it, but will it hurt me for the rest of my life not doing it at all? I brought one too, yeah. Ewan Johnston, he's bought a ticket for the bike. Don't forget, I've only got 14 tickets left, people. 14 tickets. And if anyone seems Tom Brown, get hold of him for me. He told me he was getting back to me about 19 times. I know he's very busy with his Motor Extreme and his new motocross track up at Moto 46, I'm sure it's called, up at near Bath Junction. But he's having a couple of tickets, he told me, so hope he's getting back to me. Ryan Hunt, David Campbell put, yes, that would be a good one. Ryan Hunt, I remember him on, when he wasn't actually Julian Rawson at Suzuki when Ryan Hunt was there, maybe. He was on Suzuki, I remember, Team Suzuki. I remember he was on a Honda as well. Someone's put David Taylor, Mark Eastwood would be awesome. Yeah, for sure. Has anyone got a contact for Mark Eastwood? I've not seen Mark Eastwood on any social media or anything like that. Hence, I've not asked him. Well done, Lee. Me and Dave Smith have been sat here listening. What a guy. Monsieur Thorpe is. Could listen to him all day. So many memories and love your interviews. Keep them all going, fella. Thanks. No problem at all. We'll certainly do that. Got loads to come as we've been talking about. Jamie Jones, great interviews, Lee. Mark Banks, what a legend. I did message Mark Banks on Facebook. Hasn't got back to me yet. So as quite a few have been, a lot of, like I messaged Stefan Everts for months, and then I managed to get hold of him. One day he replied and said that he would do it, and just gone on from there. And then obviously this amazing thing where I've connected up with him now with his gin and thing and brand has been amazing. Wow, who to even think to get to speak to Stefan Everts, let alone interview Stefan Everts, and he's agreed to do a live interview as well. So this would be perfect to use this new StreamYard as well. So that would be awesome to speak to Stefan Everts live, so you guys can get in here. That's why we just need to get all these profiles sorted out so that I can see you saying it and quote your name and get you up on screen like so. Just done it. There you go, Dave Lawson. If you've just done it, there you are. Look, your profile picture's up there now and your name. Thank you very much. That'd be perfect for another time. Hopefully this week. Dave Piggin, Dave Thorpe would Mark does their suspension for him. Oh, so I could maybe get hold of Mr. Eastwood through Dave. I think, what do you people think about, I mentioned it to Dave on screen, speaking to Keith Thorpe. He was the man on the spanners, as it were, for Mr. Thorpe throughout his amazing days. That would be a really good interview, I think. And I'm sure he's got some great memories. Well, Dave mentioned that his memory is better than Dave. So sounds like Keith would have a lot of stories and a lot of answers for you guys. Sorry, Shane. Kaz Wright has put a photo of DT and me at 1978 BSMA Championship presentation. Here we go. We'll get that up. Look. Wow. That's really cool. 1978. Bloody hell. I was one then, Kaz. That's really good, though. That's amazing. Grant Preston, we'll get you up there. Look. Enjoyed listening to Dave. Thanks, Lee. He's a very nice man. No wonder he was a world champion a few times. I met him once at the MX Nations at Matterley. Yeah, the last time I went to Matterley was the one where everyone remember when Stefan Everts beat Bubba, James Stewart, in the Nations there. I think it was Everts' last race, so I was there when that was amazing. That was amazing. So, yeah, thanks very much, everyone. Appreciate all your input tonight. Like I said, just couple of little things. I think Dave used his phone on the interview. I think he had a couple of little sort of reception issues. A couple of we heard some noises a little bit. I think my ends was okay, but other than that, hopefully it all came across okay. I'm sure once this finishes, you can watch it back. 2006 was it, Ian Means put? Wow, it's a long time ago already, isn't it? Yeah, that's the one I went to. That's the last time I went there. So I need to get an amazing one as well. It was when I did Roger Harvey's. That was really good to speak to Roger Harvey, Team Honda manager. He said that I couldn't believe it. I've never done anything like that. He actually said that he was going to arrange it for me to do like a tour around the factory Honda thing, rig and everything at the Nations that was supposed to be this year. Can you imagine? Unbelievable. So when it was cancelled, obviously I was gutted. I've never got to do anything like that before in my life. So that was a shame. Hopefully Roger maybe had to sort me out another time. But yeah, that's how I was trying to get hold of Tim Geiser. I spoke to their Honda media guy a couple of times. Obviously, where the GPs have been coming thick and fast, it's not been easy to sort that out with Tim, but hopefully I can get that soon when everything slows down. Might be able to get Tim Geiser on here for you as well. That'd be good, wouldn't it? For the, current guys out there. I was there in 1984 when Hawkstone, it was the best ever DT. When you think that we saw Dave when he was about 6 years old and he was a star then, a real gentleman. Whoever wrote that, look, just need to sort out your clicking on that thing so your profile can come through so I can see who it is. You can see the difference there. Look, Jamie Jones, profile picture, name. And if you haven't clicked on that thing, it comes up like that. See, so it's a bit of a bummer when I want to ask the guests who said what. Someone's their profile's not come up, but it's put biggest downer on Dave is he's a Chelsea fan. Never mind. Yeah, did you see my face when he said he was a Chelsea fan? I did that like, oh, really? My mum is as well. She's like the Chopper Harris era, as it were. But yeah, got a few in the family, cousins, Chelsea. It's disgusting. I'm a Man United fan. There'll be no one watching anymore. But I am a Swindon Town, we're Swindon born and bred, Swindon Town fan before anything else. But yeah, I do follow Man United. Kev B. Gonna have to get on that link, Kev B. StreamYard.com/Facebook, and then you just give StreamYard your permission for your profile to come up, and then I'll see your name and your profile picture when I click you up on the screen. Right then, people, I better get off. Go and see the lovely Lainey Lou. It's upstairs. Probably doing that. Hurry up and get off of there. She's been great helping me out, putting up with all my palaver, trying to sort all this out and the bike competition and everything. So don't forget, people, only 14 tickets left. Surely someone's going to sort me out the rest of tonight and tomorrow and get this done. And then we can do a live draw on here, can't we? We'll do a live draw on here. 150 tickets for the bike and see who's the lucky winner and who I'm going to be delivering the bike to and breaking out the red panties. Or you might pay me to keep them on. Or should I say keep clothes on? Or you might be just so excited to win the bike you won't care what I'm wearing. But we'll sort that out. Thanks very much, everyone. Really enjoyed it. Was quite nervous tonight going with the man DT and first time on here, and I wasn't too sure how it was going to work and everything, but hopefully it'll get better and better. Iron out any little things and you guys can sort out these profiles, look, and get them up so we can see your names and everything, and then it'll be all good. But yeah, loads of things to go. Don't forget, on my website, it's new out now. It's out there now. Let's go for it. Do I put mxspeedwaymemories.co.uk? And you've probably seen I don't know if any of you has been on it. There's a countdown with a picture who's going to be the next interview, countdown ticking thing there. Like you count down your holidays, it's like that. Countdown to the next big interview. So now I shall set it for, I don't think I've got anything planned for tomorrow night as it stands, but so it'll be Tuesday night, Andy Graham, 1982 British champion, great speedway rider, great Speedway family, brother Alan. And yeah, we'll sort that out. So probably Tuesday night will be the next time we're on here. Test this out again. Hopefully a lot more of you sort out them profiles, and see you soon. Good night. God bless. I'm drinking my Tesco's apple and raspberry sparkling. And hopefully I'll see you all soon. Thanks, Ben. Cheers, mate. See you all soon. Mr. Campbell, let's find them goggles at Foxhill that you left in 1994, or whatever it was. Actually, before I go, keep thinking of some more stuff to tell you all. Keeps coming in the back door here. I've discussed with someone that's helping me. The missus has just come up. Look, picture of her there with her nan in it, and on your profile picture, Lee. I'm starving, so she's basically watching the live video, knowing that when we finish, she's going to order some food. So she's waiting on that. Obviously, I'll be having like rabbit food because the diet started for the comeback. Then you forgot what I was going to say. Then yes, if everyone remembers back when it first started, when I was doing the interviews in the lockdown, I was still working, but I know a lot of you guys were at home and bored, and I thought, oh, let's try some Q&As and stuff. Night, Ben. Thanks, mate. Take care, you and John. You need to quickly listen to this last bit, you two, because you two need to be involved in this. You might remember that I mentioned back, this was just a pipe dream at the time, but I mentioned about having a BSMA reunion 2-day meeting. That is a big possibility now, and that could be something with the help of a partner I've got that's really helped me out and backs me with doing the competitions and everything with you guys to give you the best stuff. He's also, we've talked about this reunion meeting. So yeah, that will definitely be on the cards. Maybe even potentially even end up a series in some way, even like an old school BSMA Champions of Champions series, possibly something like that. But definitely a BSMA reunion 2-day. I think I'll stick to the top man, Ben. Thank you very much. That'd be awesome. You and Mr. Radford have to be there, obviously. There's so many guys. I spoke to another one that I'm going to do live on the air is Dean Batchelor. He's not really on Facebook. He's on Instagram. Seen him at Wickwall the other week. You may have seen some of the live video and pictures and stuff. Mr. Dean Batchelor was a legend in the 90s. BSMA rider. He said he'd go, definitely. There's just so many ex-BSMA riders that went on to do great things, obviously, as well. But the lads that haven't raced for years are prepared to have a go. Talked to so many guys, and the interest was massive, so it'd be amazing. It would probably be a practice day on a Saturday and a race day on a Sunday. I spoke to loads of the former pros, current pros that would be interested in coming along. I spoke to like your Rob Herrings, Greg Hansons, Perry Leasks, loads of guys that said that they would be prepared to come and have a go, like even on the Saturday and just have a practice, not interested in race, but come and have a go. You imagine seeing these sort of guys roll out and have some fun, just to, to come and to awesome to come and see these guys. People could come and get things signed and see these people. It'd be amazing. So yeah, plans are out there. Exactly that, Scott Bowman. It's definitely going to happen. So stay tuned to all that. Obviously, we don't know what's happening with the virus thing and all that sort of thing. Time-wise, we think it would be sort of like the back end of a year, the end of a season, as it were. I know it's been different this year with cramming all the GPs together and stuff like that, but it'd be nice to get you. I mentioned it to Stephen Sword, people like that. Obviously, he's helping out Conrad Muse. Them sort of guys are interested in coming. It'd be awesome to get him to come and ride and things like that, but obviously he needs to be at the end of the season, so potentially like around September, maybe before or after Farley or something like that, around that sort of time. That's what we're looking at. There are tracks I was interested in and found out about and stuff like that. I could band a few names around. I did even speak to an owner of Langrish. You may remember that track where they had the pros out there for the Ken Halls and bank holidays and things like that, I think it was. And I did a Champions of Champions meeting there with the Carl Nuns and all that sort of thing in the early 90s. Maybe so we either go down the road of making it quite natural, maybe use the natural steps that used to be there, things like that. It's just an idea. I've got my 10 ton and above digger license as well, so that's what I do for a living. So there's a potential to hire a digger and flatten things out, as it were. Maybe some old school ski jumps and things like that. But I mean, you know, make it quite natural. Like I watched Whitwar a week ago, sort of very nice, natural, great racing, natural. I thought that was really good. That sort of thing. I think I was thinking along the lines of, I know I mentioned Foxhill at the time and all that, with it being my home track. It's still a possibility maybe, but I was thinking, I don't know what you guys think, but it's more about the fact of, is it a bit too much for people that could be potentially not have rode for 10, 15, 20 years or more? Foxhill, you know, don't want people like, you know, wrecking themselves on massive jumps and all that sort of thing. So David Campbell's put Asham Woods. I've heard of the name. Where's that, David? Someone mentioned, was it not Oxford Way? Might have been Reading Way. Someone mentioned a track to me. I think it was Emma Huckabridge. I can't remember where she said it was now. It might have been Oxford Way. I can't remember. And it wasn't Cullen before anyone says that. But yeah, that's some ideas. We get David Campbell there. That'd be good. Come and have a ride round. Right, Jack? Yeah, so keep an eye out for all that as well. There's loads going on. There'll be more competitions. The next thing we're looking at doing is likely to be a signed shirt, something like that. Scott Bowman's put Roxton. I remember racing there. I want to say 93 BSMA finals. Second day was wiped out. I've seen folk with a ticket, Lee. Roxton, I've heard Roxton. That's it, Frome. Asham Woods, that must be the one that it was about then. Frome, isn't that? Oh, it's Somerset. Why am I thinking Oxford? So it's the Somerset way. Okay, I need to look at that. I'll have a look at that one then. Thanks for that. But Roxton, I did see that I'm sure people were at Roxton today, weren't they? I did see it somewhere online. Looks like they prepare it really well. Been told since the schoolboy days it's very jumpy, very obviously current as they are now. A lot of jumps. Not sure that's what I'm really looking for. Something a bit more natural, I'm thinking, for a BSMA reunion, old school one. Yeah, I'm Scottish living in England. So many shires down here. That's it. Wiltshire, Oxfordshire. Yeah, there's plenty of them, mate. I live in here. I don't know it. But yeah. So there's lots of ideas. So there's loads going on. So yeah, really good. That'll be really good. Yeah, so keep your eyes and ears out for that. So yeah, that definitely probably will happen. That's a very likely thing. And I think the interest we got back then, this was like months ago. I never remember the first ever, actually it was the first ever live video I done was on my Facebook at Foxhill, an empty Foxhill, walking around. I was with my brother and his kids and my youngest Poppy. And we literally just said, you know what? I said to him, I'm going to try this live video thing on the Facebook group, thinking I ain't got an absolute Scooby-Doo what I'm doing. Not that I do now, but I went on it and literally just clicked on it and tried it. And then I was to see all these people coming on. I was like, whoa. And yeah, I ended up, I remember going back and watching seeing the video and clicking on it on the group. And there was like well over 20,000 views. I was like, holy shit. And then there were so many people interacted with it saying that, they would be interested in the form of a BSMA reunion and all that. And it was literally like there's massive interest, even from people that haven't rode for years, like myself, 20 years or whatever. Come and have a cruise. You could come in, if you feel like you were just up to just having a cruise on the Saturday on the practice, just having a ride round, saying you rode and you were there. Do whatever you like. If you want to ride both days, ride both days. And then like guys that haven't rode for ages or whatever, you get some niggling problems with your bike and all these sort of little niggles that you want to sort out on the Saturday is ideal for that as well, if you want to race on the Sunday. So yeah, it should cover everyone. Most enjoyable interview, Dave the Star. Got no name on that one. Yep. So thanks very much all. Awesome evening. Buzzing with that. And see you all soon, and keep your eye on the ticker on my website, and that'll be the next one that's coming up. So get at me for tickets. Don't forget, only 14 tickets left. I'm hoping when I get off here, I've got some messages. I can see some on my phone, so I'm hoping that's people getting back to me for some tickets, hopefully. All right, so see you all soon. Thanks very much. Good night and God bless. And as my dad would say, it's important to be nice, but it's nice to be important. Ciao, Bella.